she's a solicitor, which is fantastic. She's also the Greens candidate for Brisbane Central. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Larissa.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Thanks for having me here today. I'm happy to join Juanita to speak for the Greens and in support of you all here against this ridiculous dam, which is expensive, which will flood your homes, which will dam the lungfish to extinction and the Mary River cod and the turtle. It will flood hundreds of hectares of endangered bushland, and as Juanita said, it is not necessary. The Greens have outlined in our urban water policy a number of options which we say are going to provide enough water to sustain Brisbane and South East Queensland. We do not need these new dams with their destructive ability to displace hundreds of thousands of families. So the lungfish has survived the dinosaurs, but will it survive Premier Beattie? Now, I'm a public interest environmental lawyer, so I've been asked by Glenda today to just address a little bit about the law relating to dams and what the community can do. So when the government and the Premier wants to push through one of these large-scale, ridiculous, expensive, major infrastructure proposals at the last minute, they use an act called the State Development Act. A bureaucrat who's not elected, immense powers to approve projects like this, and it locks out the community. There's no appeal rights from this process for the community, where otherwise there would be. There's no right to review the outcome of the decision. So this is an act which we think is absolutely appalling. And not 2 weeks ago, the Premier said he wants to further strengthen this act. He wants to give the Coordinator General even more powers to further fast-track this already lightning-speed development process. We think that's absolutely ridiculous, and we say boo. So, do our nature conservation laws have anything to say about lungfish habitat, Mary River turtle and cod? You would hope so, but unfortunately they don't protect habitat. The only obligation under the Nature Conservation Act is for the government to provide reasonable measures to try and minimise the harm to the lungfish and the other endangered wildlife. Now, the Premier will say that a fish weigh is a reasonable measure, but the Greens have a copy of a report produced by the Department of Primary Industries which do not use fish weighs effectively. It also says you need to study the impacts on spawning grounds before you build a dam. So what does the Premier do? He says to his public servants, shred that report.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
So we're not getting any joy from Queensland laws, unfortunately. We'll look to the federal government. Now, the federal government has the power to say no to this dam because of the impact on the lungfish and the Mary River cod and the turtle. And we call on Minister Campbell, Minister Ian Campbell, the Environment Minister, to finally act like an Environment Minister and say no to this dam. So we encourage all of you to write to Minister Campbell and demand that he use his powers to refuse this dam. He does have those powers. They've only been used 5 times in the history of the Act, and we say that Traveston and Wyaralong Dam should be the 6th and 7th refusals. So we want to send a message to our elected representatives. You are not representing us when you support this dam. We do not want this dam. This dam will cost us, and this dam will devastate families and our important species. So it is and it will shame us. Thank you. So it is the Greens' absolute pleasure to be here today to support you in this fight, this critical fight against nonsensical, complete absence of proactive water planning. Now, the Greens would plan for water into the future. We don't need these devastating dams. We've got water recycling, we've got urban stormwater capture and reuse, and we've got demand management. And we say that's enough. We've done the costings, and we thank you for letting us be here with you today to support you against the dam. So we'd like to send a message, no dams.